love the rain. Max! Hi, buddy. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Today I am finishing up the quilt that I'm making for my granddaughter, the top anyway. And I think I have one row left to put on there. And I just wanted to talk about how much easier it is to get this sashing and everything to line up just simply from ironing everything once I get it sewn together, ironing those seams down, and also just as I'm going along, pinning it so that I'm making sure that the sashing is coming together evenly for each square. And also, I finished my wool applique that I was doing, and I was going to make a pillow out of it. This is the very first one I've ever done, and I was going to make a pillow out of it, but I think I want something that I'll use. So I think I'm going to I've been needing something to put my embroidery and my stitching things down in, so I can carry it with me at night upstairs, away from my sewing room, but also something that I can protect it in, because I have a kitty that likes to get a hold of my threads and stuff like that. And so I think just a little basic satchel is what I'm going to do with this. Put this like on the front. I think that would be nice. And I think I'm going to work on that today. I've got to figure out exactly. It's just going to be a little basic satchel that's big enough to hold my embroidery frame. But I'm sewing on this last sashing, this last row on the sashing, and then I'll iron it. I still have to get the background fabric. I haven't made up my mind what if I'm going to do a white background or a black background. So I'm probably just going to press it and fold it up until I make up my mind about that. I know the binding I'm going to use some of the other fabrics that came in this collection, and I also need to get some fabric, decide on the colors for my niece's quilt. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm finally getting this top done. I'm still waiting for my walking foot to come in, so I won't be able to quilt this until I get that. And that will be the first time I've ever quilted using a walking foot, so I'm excited to do that. I tell you, quilting is teaching me how to be patient, and so I really like to get things done and move on to the next thing, but I'm learning very seriously I think I want to make quality quilts that has, a nice finished look. Better than I want to get it done, so I'm really learning how to be patient. But I'm going to go ahead and get this last row put on, and then I will be that much closer to getting her quilt. I did talk to my niece about her daughter's quilt, that I finished it, and she's given me her address. And so I will be getting that, hopefully that in the mail soon to her. So I just feel like this whole thing with getting back to quilting is the first thing I'm learning is just to be patient. Everything has its time, and so just have to work with what we can. You can hear the rumbling upstairs. Max is probably playing. Max is my Cocker Spaniel puppy, and he's probably grown all he's going to grow, but he's still a puppy. To me, he is, anyway. his thing lately is he likes to go outside and get sticks and bring them in and chew them up all over the carpet. Or pine cones. I don't know what it is about pine cones that he just loves to just sit and chew them up. And he has all kinds of chew toys that I've bought him. But he will go out there and get a pine cone before he will play with his toys. So I'm using masterpiece thread to put this quilt top together, because it was intended when they first made when it was a 2-ply. It was originally created for piecing, so that the stitches don't show. And so maybe that has something to do with it coming together so easily. I just get that first one, and if you're sewing in your machine, if your fabric does that, a lot of times the fabric will bunch up because the thread catches. You can take a little piece of fabric like after you get your bobbin threaded and everything, you can take a piece of fabric like about that size, fold it in half, and let that be the first thing you sew, and let that run through, and then that will keep your fabric from getting caught in the feed dog. And if you'll notice right here, I make sure that that seam is open, but I don't pull it. I just make sure it's open enough that when I'm coming up on it, that I'm getting it open as it's supposed to be, but not stretching it. And I'm not stretching it. And I can put my pen in there. And then I'm ready to sew to the next area. Getting my edges lined up. And now I'm coming up on this seam, so I can take my pen out. I'm just making sure that seam is open, but I'm not pulling it. And those are the few steps that I've taken with putting this quilt top together, these squares, that's helped me keep it amazingly straight. I really wasn't going to make one this size, this big. It's funny. It seems big, probably going to be just right, just the right size for her bed. Now that looks like it's not going to line up too well. I'm not sure, but that's okay. I can get it lined up as best as I can. Put a pin in it because that's the thing, I don't want it to slip as I'm sewing down to this area. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Get my edges even. Just ease my way up there. Just as soon as I say I'm able to keep it straight, then one of those lines get crooked. Which doesn't make any sense because I kept a 1/4 inch seam all the way through, pressed it all. Sometimes I think maybe the fabric makes the difference. If there's like any polyester whatsoever, it's going to stretch a little bit. So I'm not going to be too hard on myself. And that looks like it's going to be okay. I am giving a little bit of stretch to it, but then when I get it up to my needle, I'm just going to kind of feed it into the machine. And that's what they call easing it in. But I wanted to mention about pressing the seams. So what I did when I was putting these blocks together with the sashing in between is I would press one row with the seams pressed in, and then the next row I would press the seams going out. And then the center sashing, when I put the rows together, I would sew those inward because I feel like it would be less bulk. If you look at this seam, if this was folded over, if I pressed those seams open, there would be so much bulk there, so that when I went to quilt it, in case I decided to do something other than the walking foot, there would be a lot of bulk there I'd have to go over. So I made sure to press the long sashing that's connecting my rows together, I pressed it inwards. But that's not what I wanted to mention. What I wanted to mention about pressing those seams after I put those blocks together, pressing those seams down, when I go to sew whatever I'm going to sew, if I'm going to sew the long sashing or even around the border, those seams that I pressed under, however I pressed them under, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm getting those seams turned in or out like they're supposed to be. I used to have a terrible situation where I would sew maybe these going inward, and then when I was sewing the next side, I would have them going outward. So I'd have like this twisted situation going on, and then I would have to go back and take them one side out and sew it back down the way it needed to be. But since I realized with this quilt, since I pressed the seams right after I sewed them together, then on further down the road when I was needing to sew over those seams, that pressing actually helped me know whether those seams should be closed or open. And I really loved that because I'm not having to go back and take any out. So yeah, I just thought I wanted to mention that. And then it's funny that I got the quilt all pressed and put away. I'm actually going to put it up on the wall until I decide how I'm going to finish it. Got it up there, went through all the trouble with the ladder and everything, and then I got it up there and realized that I needed to add one more sashing to it. That's kind of funny. It's kind of the way it is for me in the sewing room. Just like a while ago, I'm almost sure that I made sure that my sashing seam was down, so that when I went to sew the right side down on the sashing, that this seam would be where it needed to be, and got all the way down to the seam and realized that I had put the wrong side to the right side. So I had to take it all out and do it all over again. And I even took the time to make sure that it was right, and somehow I still managed to get it backwards, but that's okay. Kind of keeps us humble. Keeps me humble anyway. Amy here. So I haven't uploaded a video in a couple of weeks because I haven't really been working on any quilting blocks. I did get the quilt label put on my niece's quilt. I actually put it in a box to mail it and realized that I probably should put it in some type of wrapper before putting in the box. That way, if for any reason the box gets wet or something spilt on the box, then it won't go onto the quilt. Probably wouldn't happen, but I figure it's probably better to secure it a little that way. So I'm going to go ahead and open this so you can see the quilt label that I put on here on this quilt. Oh look, someone sent me a package. I wonder if it's a pretty quilt inside.
Just kidding. I decided after boxing it up that I should probably put it in a wrapper of some kind. So I'm just going to take it out of this box. Don't worry, I'm not going to waste this box. Probably use it. Should have gotten the scissors. Hold on. Okay, so I got it open. But I was pretending that somebody sent me one. Do you ever think about that? How somebody will feel when they open up a box of something that you're sending them? I always love it when somebody takes the extra time to, like, put tissue paper and stuff like that. Just makes it. The thing is I really squeezed it in this box because of the cost of shipping. So let me get this out. Hold on. I was able to get it in the box, which is a plus. But here is the label I made for it. Something went awry with my machine right here, but I didn't rip it out. I'm just going to leave it because I've held on to this long enough. I need to get it in the mail to her, and I'm sure she'll be okay with it. Hopefully. But yeah, I did this on my Cricut. What, buddy? I gave you some food. Max. Hi, buddy. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? He turned a year old a couple of weeks ago. It's his birthday. The veterinarian was so nice. They actually sent a happy birthday card to him. He wants to go outside. It's raining. But anyway, I did this on my Cricut machine. And if you are interested in learning how to do one like this, just let me know. Leave a comment below, and I will do a tutorial. Wow, the rain is really coming down out there. I love it. Just really, really pouring. Oh, you can barely see the volcano. It's raining so hard. I absolutely love it. So it just goes to show, you never know what the weather's going to be like. Like day before yesterday, it was like 113 degrees. And then today, it's so nice. It's raining. I just love the rain. Absolutely love the rain, and that's one of the things that I miss about living here in the desert, is that we don't get a lot of rain. In the spring we get quite a bit, but I'm wondering now if this rain is telling us that it is coming, the end of the summer season. It's just so beautiful. I love the rain. The wind is blowing. It's so cool. It's been so hot lately. So hot lately.